Oh, it was a beautiful night. So you take that off first, and you add that to the burger meat as your.
Yep. And then I take this, take the fat off of it. You can be as fussy as you want or as much as you want.
Keep that separate. I'll render it down.
Uh-huh.
Keep it clean. I'll render it down.
Yeah. Then what I do, you take that, go just inside the leg there. There's some more fat. That's good bird food right there.
Woodpeckers like it, huh?
Yep. I got the pileated or pileated and the.
Hey, buddy.
Actually, you're gonna have all kinds of fat on it. Just go here.
Burger.
Then I soak it. You know, if I do the burger, I put water on it. Right down through here. And you'll see when you get close. That's the back strap right there. And this muscle, you just pull on it, and you'll see that rounded part of it. Go like that. Take this.
Follow the rib bone.
Yep. Then you trim. You can trim that up for burger. And right there, follow the rib around. Oh, wrong pan. Okay, now you got that.
So I must have clipped.
Huh?
I clipped the backbone, or did it separate when you're pulling on it?
Separated.
Oh.
Deer's not made to pull on, it's more to push.
They got longer. If I could do that with fish when I'm catching them, I could keep a lot more fish.
Yeah. See, now, this right here is your inner loin. So you just go up there, and there's little short ribs stick out like that. You go up against them. You go clear up to the ham and cut it like that. And then, I don't worry about trimming the fat off it right now because that'll all clean up. And then we can have this for lunch.
Okay.
It's fresh. It's fresh, and I don't like eating a lot of venison right on within a day or two of getting it or the day. I've actually used this, and
Just throw it in there for now.
I used to get them out to where they'd even twitch in the pan when I was frying them. That is fresh. When they quit twitching, they're done. There's short rib bones there that are where the rib bone would have been if the ribs would have continued. Okay. Go up here. Keep stripping that out. You can pull that out, but just like that, you can just. And that's your filet mignon, or whatever they call them, whatever the fancy name is for it. You cut it down here, right along that same line. And then if you're not saving the ribs, sometimes if they're good and clean, I save the ribs. This we actually. It's a bullet that, we'll just say it's a bullet that weakened that backbone. So when you're pulling the hide off, you almost pull a deer in two, apparently. You just kind of flay that, following the ribs. I boil the ribs and get this meat off of it if they're really clean. Just flay that off like that. Start to freeze up again. Okay, go around like that. And then when I'm working, instead of leaving a lot of that bloodshot on this piece, I try to kind of clean it and it skins back pretty good. And then you take this and you just cut through this little piece of muscle because it just tapers off. Okay. Peel this right down. That's your shoulder blade. Then if you're doing neck roast, I do this right here. Then I need this saw right here.
You ever just leave it on until you're done pulling the shoulders and everything off?
You can. I mean, it's not easier either way. I had a better blade than that. That's a old dull hexagon blade. You can bone that out and use it for burger, or cut it into two real nice neck roasts. You gotta take the windpipe and the esophagus out of it.
Now you're back to this side?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna take some cleaning up. Once we get it into where we're warm, but it'll basically fall off from here. My hand's getting cold.
I mean, it's only 12 degrees right now or something. I can understand why.
Then you can pull it higher if you want.
Check that over there for now, huh?
Yep. And if you're not gonna get to it for a few hours, I usually lay the blood, or you can do it just the way it is. Lay the blood down on the snow.
Suck it out of the
Yep. And then we'll go to this side.
same deal.
How thin the light would be.
Or you can just leave the ribs on it and cut and make
Yeah.
ribs. But
Barbecue the ribs or grill the ribs if they're good and clean.
I might cut the ribs and on the next one of the other ones there. Keep them as a rib.
Well, if you want to do the ribs, you can take it and leave this meat on the ribs,
Yeah.
so you get more meat on the ribs. But I actually brown these in the oven. If I'm not going to barbecue them, I brown them in the oven.
The bones, the rib bones.
The bone, any of the bones. I brown them in the oven. Cut them up in pieces. Brown them in the oven, and then throw them in a pot and boil them. And then you can pick the meat off of it, and then continue to boil them. You got a really rich bone broth. I even do the joint pieces, because that gives you that collagen. Makes a real healthy bone broth. Now, you warm your hands. When it's 12 degrees or less, you need to warm your hands in the process.
Yeah.
Pan of hot water. If you have a pan of hot water, it'll make them sting when you put them in the hot water because it's open up the capillaries. But anyway, now we're going to strip. What we're going to do here is we're going to strip the outer loin and get rid of a little more fat right here. In the south, I don't know. I haven't skinned enough deer in the south to know whether it's, they carry as much fat. This one isn't really that fat. So you can feel the pelvic bone comes up in here. So I just go and cut it up like that. Yep. And up like that. Right?
Yeah.
And then it's like flaying a fish.
Down the vertebrae there.
Just hold it right up against the spine here. And once I do this, this part will probably fall off because the backbone is actually broke. So the front rib cage will probably come off earlier than what I'm used to. Then what I do is I go right under these short ribs that show up now. Go just like that. Just like flaying a fish. Must be getting, getting twisted. Yeah, it's getting twisted.
Yeah, pretty twisted there.
Yeah, that's what the deal is. That's easy. And then, getting the light here. Get that started. Oh, yeah, my hands are getting cold.
Well, take a break.
No, here. You could put that other glove on now, but you just flay it out and it basically falls out just like that. That will take the meat off. We'll take it in. We'll
Inside.
take this in on the meat board.
We can just cut that there and throw that down over here for now.
And then the thing is, you strip the meat out of that, and all that backbone, all this backbone right here, that's all got cartilage and stuff in it. This is beautiful soup broth. But when I decide I'm taking that off, you go right up here, and there's a joint right ahead of this pelvis right here, and you can do this all with a knife. You can. So if you're in camp and you don't have and I don't like putting a lot of bone in my actual meat, so I just
Rather than using a saw, just use your knife.
right. Yep. That actual piece right there, it's so much easier than a saw, especially when they're hanging like that. That soup bone.
Want me to lower that?
This, a lot of times I'll leave them like that. They want to get rid of the tail, and I want to feed the bird. So I leave as much fat around that tail because I can hang the tail up and the birds will have a good time with it. That might take I actually able to lower it would be a little easier. My eyes aren't good. My eyes are watering like big time. Then I hang that over here on the bird feeder. Birds will get that picked clean between the 3 types of woodpeckers, 4 types of woodpeckers I've got around here. That will get cleaned right up. You can leave these in the hole, both of them together, or you can split them. Or you can do it this way. I'll put the end of this on here. And then I'll let it down. Go ahead and put it down.
Let's keep going. Here.
I'll let it down a little bit.
Here. If it's untwisted, you get that.
You can leave these together and then put them on the meat board. But if you want to do it while it's hanging, just go right down between them. There's a joint in there that will separate that pelvis, but I just actually sometimes I get right off the hook. And you just another fillet job. Nice sharp short blade works really good in this. But if you're gonna throw that in, if you're gonna throw this pelvis, which is another good soup bone, if you're gonna throw that into your crock pot or your broth pot, that's your joint right there. That's the only bone you have connecting this to the pelvis. But you can, don't worry about this bone. You can leave a little meat on that. You're just going to throw it into the bone broth. Just follow that bone, and that'll come off just like that.
Do the same with the other leg.
Yep. Just follow that around. The bone will protect your fingers. But the weight of the meat, you know, the weight of the meat, and you can work both sides at a time, so that the weight of this one would have pulled down on that. You feel that bone right there. Once you do a couple of them, you learn the shapes of that pelvis. Yeah. I like boiling the bones and getting the broth out of them. And it'll turn to a gelatin, all that collagen will turn. That makes a good soup bone. You might want to cut it so it fits in the pot better, but if you got a bunch of bones, you can stack around it.
Hey, look at that. Hear this? You can see this over here? Hear that pecking noise?
They love it.
That's that woodpecker pecking fat off the skin here. I love you, Dad.
I love you too, Philip.
This is a memory.
Here.
Now I can't see you at all. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me for the few more days.